welcome back to What the Hype, and prepare yourselves to return to Nevermore Academy, because this week we'll be talking all about Netflix's Wednesday. I'm Pam, and I'm here with Laura and Micah, and I think we're all really excited to sink our teeth into this one, aren't we?
Definitely. I loved this series when it came out on Netflix, and I'm definitely someone on the panel who I think is more of like a casual Addams Family fan. I know there's a lot of lore that can be dug into in the Wednesday show, and I know we're going to cover a lot of history about this family and this franchise, so I'm excited to be here for that and to learn more.
Yeah, I'm super excited for season 2. Really enjoyed season 1, and similar to Laura, not a huge Addams Family fan. I grew up with the movies and have a little bit of familiarity with the 1960s TV show, though I think I started watching that a little bit after I had been introduced to the movies. So I feel like it was something that I would catch on TV, maybe Nick at Night or one of those types of programs, and, you know, watch a few episodes of the Addams Family. But the way that they've been able to create this world now in the 21st century is just really fun. And yeah, I'm looking forward to season 2.
Yeah, it should be a fun episode. We've talked about Wednesday here and there a few times. We do have a quick reaction to the teaser trailer that we did for our YouTube channel exclusively. So this primer episode does feel like a long time coming. And yeah, like I said, it should be really fun to dive in. So we're going to kick things off, since this is the first time we're officially covering it on the show, with giving you all the 411 on Wednesday in case you haven't had a chance to binge the episode, or binge the season over on Netflix. But this is the perfect time to do it because season 2 drops in August. So you have plenty of time to make your way through season 1. And like everybody here said, we all really enjoyed it. So you'll be done in no time, honestly, if you start now.
It's a quick watch.
Yeah, exactly. So to give you a little bit of a background here, so Wednesday season 1 officially made its debut back in November of 2022, kind of just in time for Thanksgiving. And, you know, it's always great to have something good to binge on a holiday weekend like that. And I think that's when most of us probably started watching. But it was actually making headlines way before then as a result of the fact that Tim Burton was involved. And also in addition to the fact that, like Laura and Micah mentioned, the Addams Family has a long history in pop culture. So people were excited twofold. Wednesday also marks Tim Burton's first foray into television. So that was pretty significant for people that just love his work. And the series stars Jenna Ortega as the titular Wednesday, the Addams' morose daughter. After getting expelled from her seemingly normal high school, Wednesday gets sent to Nevermore Academy, a school for outcast monsters and misfits. Between solving a string of supernatural murders, honing her psychic abilities, and dealing with teenage angst in her own unique gothic way, Wednesday uncovers dark family secrets and proves that she's more than just a master of the macabre. So that's kind of the background of everything you need to know about this show. It's definitely way different than any of the other Addams properties that you might have seen. Like a few of us have seen the 90s movies, for example. Would you say that they've really put their own spin on this character and like this world?
Yeah, I think so. And also updated it so that it feels relevant to present day. Like I think sometimes, and again, I have maybe more limited Addams Family exposure to the full catalog of things. I've obviously seen movies, but it does kind of feel like when they place the Addams Family in an environment, they are a direct contrast to that environment. They stick out like a sore thumb. And because of that, it really highlights how different they are, and thus the time period that they're in. So I think it was actually really smart of them to make this sort of take place present day. Like, we're almost meant to assume this is just something we can believe to be happening in our world, fictionally, of course. But yeah, I think they did a really good job with it.
I agree, and it is an interesting choice to focus on Wednesday of all of the characters, but I think if you're Netflix or if you're Tim Burton, the decision to do that is a smart one because she is a teenager, and I think that draws in a certain type of audience, and there's a lot that you could build around her. And I go back to the Christina Ricci version of Wednesday, and Christina Ricci makes a cameo in season 1 of Wednesday, which I thought was kind of cool. But Jenna Ortega definitely gives her own spin on Wednesday. There's similarities between the two, but the fact that she's very much this independent yet sarcastic and witty, humorous an individual, she's just fun to watch. You never know what she's going to say or do next, and it's always kind of against the conventional grain, going off of what you were talking about, Laura. Like, the family is a bunch of oddballs, right? Like, they don't fit within your normal society, yet there's something that's just so enjoyable about watching them.
Well, they're wholesome in their way.
In their weirdness.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and then to add on to the, what you were both saying, that they're kind of the antithesis of normal. It's down to even like traits that aren't super wacky or kooky, like the fact that Gomez is a total wife guy and obsessed with Morticia is the antithesis to what society,
like Al Bundy
would
and
have,
some of the other characters we talked about on the
would
Father's
show,
Day
like,
episode.
Exactly. Yeah, it's the antithesis of what we would see from like, like a tough husband who's like providing for his family or whatever. And so the fact that they showcase like a really like loving, honestly, like pretty like healthy family dynamic, because they all tend to stick together, is the antithesis to like what we would see from a normal family that maybe might be a little bit more detached, might not be all banding together under the same umbrella.
It's also great to get the fact that, like, we're saying they're oddballs, but they're not alone. That's what Nevermore Academy shows us, right? There's this whole world of quote unquote oddballs that exist, but even within that world, initially, Wednesday is a little bit on the outskirts.
Yeah,
Totally.
yeah, she still sticks out, so that you still get that element that is very quintessential to the Addams family. And I think that that's a good time for us to dive into a brief history of the Addams family, because like we were saying before, they have a long history in pop culture. So for anyone who doesn't know, the Addams family was actually first introduced in The New Yorker in 1938. They started off as a single panel cartoon, which was created by Charles Addams. They quickly became known for their gothic lifestyle and deadpan wit, but the popularity of the Addams family really reached new heights when they made their way onto television screens in 1964. And this was as part of the now classic black and white family sitcom, The Addams Family, which Micah was referencing just a minute ago. This series actually only ran for 2 seasons, which is insane to me, because I swear to God, there's like so many episodes. Like, I also remember a lot of reruns.
True. Yeah, I definitely remember seeing a lot of these reruns on like
TV Land and Late Night.
Was it like Turner Classic? Like,
yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, basically stuff that channels my grandparents would have on usually is where I would see this.
Yeah.
Cool grandparents.
Honestly, I get it confused with a lot with the Munsters, because my mom would put on a lot of these old sitcoms for me and my brother to watch, like when we were getting ready for school, for example. And yeah, like the Munsters was kind of like another one of those like oddball like gothic families, but they were actual monsters. And I don't think the Addams family really, like, they kind of like toe the line. But yeah, in my head it blurs, and maybe that's why I feel like there's more episodes than there actually are.
I have to assume that the Munsters were introduced as kind of like competition to the Addams family.
I would think so.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think there's a clear winner. Like, I think if I had to rank the Addams family and the Munsters, no offense to Munsters fans, but I think the Addams family has more of a cool factor.
Yeah. So the Munsters, I just looked up really quick. It looks like they debuted in 1964, so a year after, which would make sense to your point. So to wrap up our brief history of the Addams family here, we are now entering the 1990s, and this is probably the version that we're most familiar with as millennials. The family was resurrected a third time by way of the hit feature films The Addams Family in 1991, and then Addams Family Values in 1993. This is where Christina Ricci comes into play, for example. Other adaptations include a Broadway musical, which was made in 2010, and then 2 CGI movies, The Addams Family in 2019 and The Addams Family 2 in 2021. And then somebody put a fun fact in here.
I did. Yeah. So
tell us about it.
the Hall of Languages, which is on the campus of Syracuse University, where I took many a class, is said to have inspired the infamous Addams Family mansion. And if you look at the exterior, you can see why. This building was
Looks
created
just like it.
in the 1800s, so it definitely predates the Addams Family. So there's no question of whether or not timing-wise it could work. It certainly can. So I don't know if it's lore, if it's fact, if it's a bit of both, but it definitely looks like it.
Yeah, I mean, it has that whole gothic architecture thing going on, so I think it's a safe assumption.
Well, we're going to take a quick break here to pay the bills, but we'll be right back with more Wednesday talk, and we'll be diving right into season 1 when we do.